Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is now in session. The court is in session and calls number M331098. Case is style of State of Texas versus Heaven Andrews. Heaven Andrews scheduled to be in court this morning at 9 a.m. for the motion to revoke probation document. In fact, her case was set for sentencing. She previously pled true to allegation number 4 in the motion to revoke probation docket. At or about 9 a.m., the court's bailiff called the name of Heaven Andrews at the courthouse door. Heaven Andrews did not answer. Heaven Andrews has not appeared in court. Her attorney has appeared in court. The court has received a phone call from a person who said that they were Heaven Andrews' friend and that Miss Andrews was on her way to the hospital with a severe case of poison ivy. At this time, the court is going to ask the bailiff to call the name of Heaven Andrews at the courthouse door. Heaven Andrews' name was just called again at the courthouse door. Heaven Andrews did not answer. A reasonable time has passed to give Miss Andrews an opportunity to appear in court. State, do you have a motion?
They move the ball over to Joe.
Well, Your Honor, at this time, I think, given the fact that there's indication she's maybe at the hospital, I wouldn't want to do anything rash and forfeit the bond.
Well, at this time, if it is verified that through a medical report that Miss Andrews is in fact at the hospital, the court can recall the bond forfeiture. So at this time, Miss Andrews' bond will be forfeited.
No, they're not released.
Yes, you may be free to go. You have a blessed day. Next case is cause number M329694. Case is style of State of Texas versus Derricka J. Johnson. Derricka J. Johnson was scheduled to be in court this morning at 9 a.m. for the court's announcement docket. At or about 9 a.m., Derricka Johnson's name was called at the courthouse door by the court bailiff. Derricka Johnson did not answer. Derricka Johnson has not appeared in court since the court has been in session. Her attorney, Mr. Peter Doyle, is in court. Mr. Bailiff, would you please call the name of Derricka Johnson at the courthouse door? Derricka Johnson's name was just called at the courthouse door by the court bailiff. Derricka Johnson did not answer. A reasonable time has passed to give Ms. Johnson an opportunity to appear in court. State, do you have a motion?
They move the ball over here.
That motion will be granted. Derricka Johnson's bond will be forfeited and a warrant shall be issued for her arrest. And in the previous case, Heaven Andrews' bond before the warrant shall be issued for her arrest also. And cause number M331098 and cause number M329694, Derricka Johnson's bond will be forfeited and a warrant shall be issued for arrest. Mr. Peter Doyle, you're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Next case is Christy Nicole Neal. Mr. Bailey, could you please get Christy Nicole Neal? Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is in session in 3 cases. First case is cause number M324580. Second case is cause number M325772. And the third case is cause number M325190. All 3 cases are styled the state of Texas versus, is that Kirsty Nicole Neal?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Neal, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Neal, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Neal, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Ms. Neal?
Thank you.
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Ms. Neal. You're represented in your cases by your attorney, Attorney Kyle Walker. Attorney Walker, how are you doing?
I'm good, Judge. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. State is represented in this case by Attorney Colby Hoffmeyer. Attorney Hoffmeyer, how are you doing?
Good, thank you, Judge.
Mr. Walker, do you waive a record in Ms. Neal's cases?
We did.
Ms. Neal, in cause number M325190, I have before me a document. Excuse me. Okay, Ms. Neal, in cause number M325190, I have before me a document that is titled Information. This information, Ms. Neal, was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information, it alleges that you, Kirsty Nicole Neal, on or about August 22nd of 2019, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed to Class A misdemeanor offense of possession of a controlled substance. Ms. Neal, do you understand what you have been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Ms. Neal, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges? Ms. Neal, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. It is also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document? On this page 2 of the same document, there are a set of initials, KN, that are on a line next to a box that's checked nolo contendere, which means no contest. Ms. Neal, did you place your initials KN on this document? On page 3 of the same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Ms. Neal, is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
The next document is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Ms. Neal, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes that's checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you are waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
You have that discovery certification.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Neal, I also have a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Neal, before you sign and initial all of these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Walker, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything that he went over?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Neal, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibits Number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. and State's Exhibit number 2 to probable cause affidavit. State, would you like to offer State's Exhibits number 1 and 2?
Yes, sir.
No objection, State's Exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted. Ms. Walker, you advised in counsel, Ms. Neal, is there any evidence that she is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, sir.
Ms. Neal, your attorney, Ms. Walker, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Neal, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange, Your Honor, first of all, this has to do with all three cases that are set on the court's docket.
Okay.
In this particular case, the state's agreed to, in exchange for a plea of guilty or no contest, the state's agreed to offer 1 year deferred adjudication, community supervision, a $500 fine and court costs, 40 hours community service, standard terms and conditions, and any other conditions probation deems appropriate. Also, part of this plea agreement is for the state to dismiss cause number M324580,
Okay,
as well as dismissal of cause number M325772, and along with that particular case, to forfeit the weapon as well, and that's. Judge, we have that done with that.
forfeiture. Weapon. Yeah. Okay.
With the, it's automatic, like, so if we, I mean, I will, they're just gonna run current with a felony probation, but if you don't.
Yeah, if it's
say
not
it
mentioned in the,
automatically-
yeah, yes, automatic.
Just have precaution, Judge.
Oh, okay.
No, that's good.
Yeah. Okay, now, Ms. Neal, the state is offering that you serve 1 year deferred adjudicated probation. During this 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $500 plus court cost. The court cost in this case is $342. You'll also be required to pay $60 a month probation fee, $15 a month urinalysis fee. You'll also be required to pay a reimbursement fee of $15. Now, your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you'll be required to pay each month, is $160 a month. Will you be able to pay the $160 each month?
Yes, sir.
You will also be required to perform 40 hours of community service. You will be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. The state will be dismissing cause number M324580 and cause number M325772, which is an unlawful carrying a weapon, for the forfeiture of the weapon in cause number M325772. And I have before me a motion to forfeit that weapon to the Beaumont Police Department. Ms. Neal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
Motion to forfeit, and is this your signature on the line that is titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, before you sign this document, did your attorney go over this document with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything that your attorney went over?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in this document true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Neal, do you want the court to grant this motion to forfeit the weapon to the Beaumont Police Department?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Neal, the court is going to grant this motion to forfeit the weapon to the Beaumont Police Department. Now, Ms. Neal, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just? And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Neal, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Now, Ms. Neal, if you successfully complete this probationary period, this case will be dismissed. It would not result in a conviction on your record, and you may qualify for non-disclosure. You can talk to your attorney about the non-disclosure because he's quite competent in those matters. Do we need to have her have a seat?
I'm almost done, but yes.
Okay. Ms. Neal, just please have a seat. And when the clerk to my right is ready for you, she's gonna ask you to come up to a window. You go up to a window, please follow the directions. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Okay, you are. And Mr. Walker, you're free to go as well. You have a blessed day. Thank you. Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session in 2 cases. First case is cause number M326294. Second case is cause number M333498. Both cases are style of state of Texas versus Anthony Mater. Mr. Mater, is that your full name?
It is. Your Honor.
Mr. Mater, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Mater, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Mhm.
Mr. Mater, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Mater?
Doing like when you flip, Your Honor.
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Mater. Your attorney of record is Attorney Bruce Smith. Attorney Smith is not here this morning. However, standing in for Attorney Smith is Attorney Brennan Mitchell. Does Attorney Mitchell have your permission to stand in for Attorney Smith? Okay. And Mr. Mitchell, how are you doing?
Great, Judge. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Mr. Mitchell, do you waive a record in Mr. Mater's case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Mater, in cause number M333498, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information alleges that on or about August 25th of 2022, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of theft. Mr. Mater, do you understand what you've been charged with? And to this charge, Mr. Mater, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
I am, Your Honor.
And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
True.
Mr. Mater, I also have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor plea admonishment. Mr. Mater, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
On page 2 of the same document, there is a signature. Okay, there's a set of initials above the line or on the line next to a box that's checked guilty. Mr. Mater, did you place your initials on this document?
Yeah.
On page 3 of this same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Mr. Mater, is this your signature?
Yes, it is.
On the next document, Mr. Mater, this document is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that is titled defendant?
It is. Your Honor.
At the top of this document, Mr. Mater, there are 2 boxes that are checked. The first box that's checked is next to a statement that says this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
The next box that's checked is next to a statement that says you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mater, I also have a document here that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is this your signature on the line above the line that is titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mater, before you sign and initial all of these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Brennan Mitchell, go over these documents with you?
He did, Your Honor.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
I did, Your Honor.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment, State's Exhibit Number 1. State, would you like to offer State's Exhibit Number 1 into evidence?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objection, Judge.
No objection. State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted into evidence. Now, Mr. Mater, are you a citizen of the United States?
I am.
And Mr. Mitchell, you advised and counseled Mr. Mater. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Mater, your attorney, Mr. Mitchell, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
He did.
Mr. Mater, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State. Do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
What is that plea bargain agreement?
In exchange for plea of guilty or no contest, the state agreed to recommend 3 days in jail, in the Jefferson County Jail and court costs with credit for 3 days, Your Honor. We ask it be time served and to tax and retire the court costs.
That's my understanding of the agreement as well, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
the state is offering that you serve 3 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You will not have to serve any more time in the Jefferson County Jail because you've already served 3 days in the Jefferson County Jail. Therefore, you'll be given credit for the time that you've already spent in jail. The court cost in this case is $292, but you would not be required to pay the $292 court cost because the time that you spent in jail has already paid it off. Therefore, the court costs will be taxed and retired. And the state will be dismissing the motion to revoke probation.
Because the defendant has paid his arrears in that case, Judge.
Okay, because you have paid your arrearages in that case. That's cause number M326924. Now, Mr. Mater, do you understand the state's offer?
I do, Your Honor.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir, and I thank you.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mater, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Mater, please have a seat in the gallery. And when the court clerk is ready for you, she will call you up to her window. And once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go.
Thank
And you have a blessed day. You're welcome.
Thank you, Judge. Thank
And
you.
you'll be free to go as well,
Yeah.
Mr.
Thank
Mitchell.
you, Your Honor.
You have a blessed day as well.
What season is that? 498 is the one who's getting credit for that third one.
Right, and the other one is being dismissed.
You're welcome.
Hold on a minute. Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session and calls number M333478, faces style of state of Texas versus Mason Cole Presley. Mr. Presley, your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Presley?
Oh, pretty good.
That's good. Mr. Presley, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Jason Nix. Attorney Nix, how are you doing?
I'm good, Judge. Good to see you.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Nix, what is your announcement in Mr. Presley's case?
We like a trial, Your Honor.
Okay, could you give us a trial date?
July 31st.
Okay, this case, Mr. Presley, will be reset for trial July 31st of 2023. Your attorney is going to be given a copy of your reset. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go. And you have a blessed day. And Mr. Nix, you'll be free to go as well. And you have a
Thank
blessed
you,
day.
Judge.
All right, please stand over to my right.
Thanks for managing.
Teresa Pickney.
Mr. Mayor,
Hey, Judge, I'm here on Mr. Bill.
Okay, I'm getting ready to do a plea on another case. We'll call your case in a little bit.
Okay, no problem.
Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session. Court is in session. And cause number M333420, case style, the state of Texas versus Teresa Michelle Pickney. Ms. Pickney, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Ms. Pickney?
Um.
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Ms. Pickney, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Pickney, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes.
Ms. Pickney, you may put your hand down. Ms. Pickney, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Don Boudreaux. Attorney Boudreaux, how are you doing?
Just fine, sir, and you?
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Boudreaux, do you waive a record in Ms. Pickney's case?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Pickney, I have before me a document that has been filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. This document is titled Information. This information alleges that on or about August 7th of 2022, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you, Teresa Michelle Pickney, committed the Class 8 misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more. Ms. Pickney, do you understand what you have been charged with? And to this charge, Ms. Pickney, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No comment.
Now, you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges? Ms. Pickney, I also have a document here that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. It's also labeled as State's Exhibit number 1. Ms. Pickney, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
On page 2 of this same document, there are a set of initials on a line next to a box that's checked NOLA contingent, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes.
On page 3 of this same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes.
I also have another document that is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on the line that is titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 boxes that are checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement? I also have a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Pickney, before you sign and initial all of these documents that I've just mentioned to you, did your attorney, Mr. Boudreaux, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything that Mr. Boudreaux went over?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Pickney, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment, and State's Exhibit number 2, the probable cause affidavit. State, would you like to offer State's Exhibits 1 and 2 in evidence?
Sure.
Any objections, Mr. Boudreaux?
No, sir.
No objections. State's Exhibits number 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Boudreaux, you have advised and counseled Ms. Pickney. Is there any evidence that she is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, sir.
Ms. Pickney, your attorney, Mr. Boudreaux, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes.
Ms. Pickney, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
The state's for a plea of guilty or no contest, state's agreed to recommend 90 days in Jefferson County Jail probated for 12 months. $1,000 fine, court costs, 80 hours community-based service, $60 restitution, the DPS lab for testing, interlock device, and all other terms and conditions appropriate for DWI probation, Your Honor.
Ms. Pinckney, the state is recommending that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you would not be required to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail on this case because you will be placed on probation for 12 months. During the 12-month probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $1,000 plus court costs. The court cost in this case is $407. You'll also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, or your analysis fee of $15 each month. You'll be required to pay the DPS restitution fee of $60 each month. You'll be required to pay Jefferson County, the reimbursement fee of $15. You will also be required to pay Jefferson County DWI education and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Your total monthly installments, that is, the total amount that you will be required to pay each month while you're on probation is $216 a month. Will you be able to pay the $216 each month?
Yes, sir.
You will also be required to install an interlock device. Well, you'll also be required to perform 80 hours of community service. You'll be required to install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate. You'll be required to attend and complete a DWI education class. You'll be required to have a drug and alcohol assessment, and you'll be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of your probation. Ms. Pinckney, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Pinckney, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreement that you have entered into with the state. Ms. Pinckney, this will conclude your case. You're gonna have a seat in the gallery and wait for our court clerk to call your name to come up to a window. When you go up to a window, please follow her instructions. And once you finish following her instructions, you'll be free to go. And you have a blessed day. Mr. Boudreaux, you'll be free to go as well. And you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
And this is the one where they're doing the $60 restitution.
For DPS restitution fee, yeah. Mr. Grove, you can come.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Grove,
Yes, sir.
okay, Mr. Whitaker.
The Whitaker's on his way up here.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Mr. Grove, let's see Whitaker. Jefferson County Court at law number 2 is back in session. Court is in session and cause number M326566, case of style of state of Texas versus Andre DeLeon Whitaker. Mr. Whitaker, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Whitaker, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Whitaker, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Mr. Whitaker, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Whitaker?
Pretty good, sir.
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Whitaker, you represented in your case by your attorney David Grove. Attorney Grove, how are you doing?
Good, Judge, thank you.
Mr. Grove, do you waive a record in Mr. Whitaker's case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Whitaker, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information was filed by the Jefferson Attorney's Office. In this information, Mr. Whitaker, it alleges that on or about February 26th of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of criminal mischief. Mr. Whitaker, do you understand what you have been charged with? And to this charge, Mr. Whitaker, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest? Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Whitaker, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Do you recognize this document? On page 2 of this same document, there are a set of initials, AW, on a line next to a box that is checked no contendere, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of this same document, there is a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
The next document is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Mr. Whitaker, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
I also have a document here before me that is titled Discovery Certification. You recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes,
Mr. Whitaker, before you signed and initialed these documents, did your attorney, Mr. Grove, go over these documents with you? And did you read and understand everything in these documents? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
yes, sir.
Mr. Whitaker, are you a citizen of the United States? State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishments, and State's Exhibit number 2, the probable cause affidavit, which is in the court's file. State, would you like to offer States 1 and 2?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
Honor.
No objections. States Exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Grove, you've advised and counseled Mr. Whitaker. Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None that I'm aware of.
Mr. Whitaker, your attorney, Mr. Grove, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his services?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Whitaker, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for a plea of guilty or no contest, the state agreed to recommend 90 days in Jefferson County Jail, probated for 1 year.
1 year, okay.
State's waiving the fine in this case, Your Honor. Court cost, restitution, amount of $2,087 and
$2,087, okay,
31 cents,
31 cents.
payable to Blair Eugene. It's written in the
It's okay to Blair. Blair, it's a Jalise Eugene, it's Jallyse.
I don't know.
That's a middle name.
That I'm not aware of.
Okay, hold
That's in
on.
the information. of the
Okay.
file, Judge, that's where.
Okay.
Eugene is- I mean, it's the same person.
Eugene. Okay, and
Any other terms you can do?
any community service?
Judge, 60 hours for me, sir.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay. Mr. Whitaker, the state is offering that you serve 90 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you will be placed on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you will not be required to pay a fine. However, you will be required to pay court costs of $337. You'll also be required to pay restitution to Blair Jalise Eugene in the amount of $2,087.31. You'll be required to pay probation fee of $60 each month, or your analysis fee of $15 each month. And you'll be required to pay Jefferson County a reimbursement fee of $15. Your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay each month while you're on probation, is $140 a month. Will you be able to pay the $140 each month?
Yes, sir.
You will also be required to perform 60 hours of community service, and you will be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Mr. Whitaker, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Sir.
Mr. Whitaker, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Now, Mr. Whitaker, this will conclude your case. You're going to have a seat in the gallery and wait for the clerk to call your name. Once she calls your name, come to the window and follow her directions. And once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go. And you have a blessed day. And Mr. Grove, you'll be free to go as well, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you, sir.
Next case is cause number M324782. Case is style of State of Texas versus Charles Thomas Bell. Mr. Bell, would you please come forward?
Bill. Charles Bill.
Okay, Mr. Bell, you can come forward. Mr. Bell, your full name is Charles Thomas Bell.
Yes.
How you doing, Mr. Bell? Okay, well, we be praying that you be feeling a little bit better. Mr. Bell, you're represented in your case by your attorney Langston Adams, who is appearing via Zoom. Attorney Adams, how are you doing?
Doing well.
Mr. Adams, this case is on our motion to revoke probation docket.
Right. So let me tell you what.
We're like,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kobe.
we just like to set it for a hearing. It's the next setting if unless obviously we can't do a plea with counsel here unless they want to set it for a plea. Otherwise, the hearing.
No. The problem is this. Mr. Bill came to my office on 5/4/23 to look at the discovery and look at the allegations against him. The only problem is that when I went to print them on the DA's web page, it's only letting me print the first page. So like the administrative hearing, the motion to actually revoke the probation, I can only print one page because it's coming up as a TIFF document. So I don't have everything to give to him.
The deal is just, and I don't know, this is what I've heard, that what I'm speaking to that is that they're charging for the full document. I don't know why. I mean,
Okay.
that's not anything
Charging you money for a full document?
that's what I'm not saying is right or what, but that's what they're saying. It's showing you the one and like somebody you have to pay for that. Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to get that.
Motion is, but a story on MTRP is, it's not the underlying case, it's the motions and the allegations.
Yeah, but
He
you
can
have
get
the
that,
administrative hearing and all that type
all
of stuff.
that, but he can get that. I mean, obviously.
I'm trying to tell you, when you go on the line, I had him in my office. He was in my office on 5/4/23. I went to the DA web page. I went to the portal. I clicked on the portal, clicked on his name. And what happens is that when you click on a document, like the administrative hearing document, I clicked on that and it only lets you print one page. It's not coming up as a PDF. It's coming up as a TIFF document. And then when I tried to click on the actual motion to revoke, like I show you right here, this is the one page that it let me print. So the thing is that it didn't ask me to pay any money. It's just only letting you print one page. But I've been having that same problem, and I know I'm not the only lawyer that's been having that same problem with the other cases.
State understands it. I don't know. It's the new Tyler. If he wants to come by and get the motions, I'll give him everything he needs on that or whatever, like through another program. I can't do anything about it.
Okay, so right now he's not in a position to make an announcement
True.
for a hearing, so we're gonna have to reset it again and keep it on this MTRP announcement docket until, he has to get his discovery to go over with his
Understood.
client. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it just had get with me so we can get it, so we don't have the same problem next time.
No, that's not a problem. If you can just email me the discovery, and that way you have a record that you emailed it to me, and then I can just print it from the email, because I'm telling you, it's only letting you print the first page. It's not giving you the other page. But like I say, it's not just this case. This problem is happening with almost all the cases.
I know, and I understand.
It's
Like,
all the
send me a request to me by email, and I'll respond with a document.
No, that's not a problem. And Judge, I'm not saying this is Kobe's fault. I mean, I got a murder case in CDC, and I got the same problem. And I first noticed it is that on the autopsy report, autopsy report is going to be several pages. But when I clicked on the autopsy report online, I only got one page. So
okay.
I knew that so the way their system is working, and you can talk to some of the other lawyers in your courtroom, it's going to be kind of hard getting ready for these trials when you try to go print the discovery. It's only giving you one page of a report. So if an officer got 3 pages in his report, you're going to get the first page, but the other pages you're not going to get.
Okay, let's reset him for announcement on the MTRP docket. Give us a reset date.
June 23rd or July 7th.
June 23rd or July 27th. Which day
That's no
is,
problem. And we probably should better get that resolved before then.
which one, which date? June 23rd or July 27th?
Oh, you said June 23rd? I'm sorry, look at my calendar. Oh, no, definitely not June 23rd.
What about July 27th?
No, the
I'll go,
7th.
No, excuse me, July 7th.
you said July 7th?
Right.
I say just put it on July 7th for announcement. That'd be
Okay.
better. Yeah,
Okay,
they go
so-
back to me to reset, huh?
Yes. Okay, so, Mr. Adams, your reset will be sent to you. Mr. Bell, you can get your reset here in court. Do you need him to have a seat?
No, he can come on.
Just stand over there by our court coordinator. Once you get your reset, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
All
And
right,
Mr. Adams, you're free to go as well and you have a blessed day.
appreciate you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Mr. Whitaker?
We need to get Jarvis Wayne Ardoin the third. He's on Zoom. Mr. Ardoin?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is cause number M333402. Case of style of state of Texas versus Jarvis Wayne Ardoin the third. Mr. Ardoin is represented in this case by Attorney James Paget, who is also appearing via Zoom. Mr. Ardoin, how are you doing?
Good.
And Mr. Paget, how are you doing?
Blessed. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Now, Mr. Paget, what is your announcement in Mr. Ardoin's case?
Yeah, that's right.
Your Honor, I'm going to request 30 days. I have not received all the discovery on this case. I was dealing with a similar problem as Mr. Adams, but I think I've fixed that and I now have the full report. I'm just waiting on some video evidence.
Okay,
So we should be able to bring this case to a conclusion if you would give me 30 to 45 days, whatever pleases the court.
give us a reset date.
What document is he on?
He's on the announcement docket, page 2 at the
You're
bottom.
gonna take this to the probation office as soon as you leave, okay? July 7th.
July 7th or July 21st?
July 21st, I'm wide open, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll reset this case to July 21st. Mr. Ardoin, your attorney, is going to get your reset. Stay in contact with your attorney and your bondsman. Your case has been reset to July 21st, 2023. Thanks for being patient with us. You're free to go and you have a blessed day. And Mr. Paget, as I stated earlier, your reset will be sent to you. You're free to go. Thanks for being patient with us. And you have a blessed day as well.
You as
Yes,
well,
sir.
Your Honor. Thank you.
You're welcome.
July 7th.
Okay, we're gonna need Carla Zavala. Please come forward. This is cause number M333354. Case of style of state of Texas versus Carla Nunez Zavala. Ms. Zavala, is that your full name? How you doing, Ms. Zavala? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Ms. Zavala. You're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney Thomas Burbank. Attorney Burbank is appearing via Zoom. Attorney Burbank, how are you doing?
Good morning, Your Honor. I'm doing fine.
Good morning. Mr. Burbank, what is your announcement in Ms. Zavala's case?
Well, I wish I had an announcement, Judge. Mr. Zavala needs to make an appointment to come see me. So it's extremely important. My understanding is that she probably called a couple of times a long time ago, then forgot or lost my number. But I do have information. I do have her discovery. And so I need to talk to her and she needs to come on in so that we can make a decision what to do.
Okay. Give us a reset date. How much time you need?
Whatever the court deems necessary, Judge. I'm hoping that this will work out. This should be a case that works out, but I need to go over some options with her that we possibly could work in her favor.
Okay. Now, is July 7th or July 21st best for you?
21st is probably not good, Judge, but the July 7th, might as
Okay,
well make it right after the holiday.
okay. So Ms. Zavala, your case will be reset to July 7th. Stay in contact with your attorney. You're gonna get your reset here in court. Once you get your reset here from our court coordinator on the 4th, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Please stand in
Yeah,
front of the court.
Right, and it's not just keep in contact, Judge. It's she needs to make an appointment.
You need to make do that. Okay, you have his number?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Yeah, she said she'll keep in contact and she'll make an appointment.
Very good, Judge. May be used.
Okay, you may be excused, Mr. Burbank. Your reset will be sent to you. You have a blessed day, and Ms. Zavala, you have a blessed day as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.